The same exact thing. This thing's coming back hot. I'm throwing it at 7 speed. First, what do I say? First cast. What up, YouTube? Welcome to TNC Fishing. Like always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Today we're out at the tiny pond. I had actually planned on going and hitting up one of the lakes today, but plans kind of fell through. So we got the kayak loaded up. We're gonna hit out. Today sets up really well. We've got a lot of stuff going in our favor. We've got a high pressure system rolling in. We've got a little bit of wind, which sucks for the kayak, but is better for the bite. We just had. Last week, we had a bunch of rain come in, so the water level's up a little bit, which is good. We needed water desperately. I mean, is it enough to make a huge difference? No, but a little bit of water came in, so it definitely, looking at it, has murked it up, which should help with the moving bait bite, and it is 65 degrees right now. So we are in the fall, which is awesome. I'm tired of sweating, paddling my kayak around everywhere. So the weather's nice. I'm already seeing fish jumping, so it looks like they're actively feeding. So hopefully we have a good day. I've got a couple lures in mind that I've already got tied up, ready to roll. And it being potentially full swing fall transition right now, we're going to be doing a lot of power fishing. That's kind of name of the game all through the fall. Is a lot of reaction style baits. There's nothing holding these fish to anything in particular. They're just out here chasing bait. They're just trying to feed up. So wherever the bait fish are, that's where they are. So it's a whole lot of just covering country and really paying attention to the surface. If you see fish blowing up, it means there's active feeding fish there. So you need to cast over there. So that's mainly what we're going to do. The nice thing is I can cast almost all the way across this whole thing. So wherever the fish jump, I think we can get to them. And we're going to test there, and I'll walk you guys through the baits that I like in these situations and how to move that to like a bigger body of water. So that way, you know, if you get a chance to get out before me. But I'm already super pumped. Let's go catch some fish. Okay, I made it out. A little messier launch than I was kind of hoping for, but we got her done. And I realized when I got out here, I left my seat, my little extra butt pad, so that part kind of sucks. But now looking at the water, we've got about a foot of visibility, give or take. Water's much colder than last time I was here. But we're going to start off with topwater, the whopper plopper. I'm hoping with the little bit of ripple we've got, handle's all muddy, and seeing these fish blowing up the way they are, that hopefully we can talk one into smacking the old whopper plopper. And, you know, this time of year, like I said, there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to where they're at. You know, I'd love to tell you, they're out in the middle, or they're up shallow, or, you know, they're going to be in the grass, or they're going to be doing whatever. And honestly, yes and no. They're there and they're not there. They're wherever the bait is, whatever the forage is in that body of water. And that changes depending on the body of water, right? You know, some body of waters don't have shad. Like a lot of these ponds don't have shad. So the primary forage is going to be bluegill. It's going to be, you know, crawdads, something like that. So they're going to probably relate more to like these grass edges and stuff, because that's where the crawdads like to dig themselves in the mud around the grass, because they eat the grass. And the bluegill are going to be there too, Whereas if you're on shad fishery, you know, I would tell you they're going to be a little bit more out in the open, maybe in the middle of the coves. Maybe check like steeper like bluff walls, because what'll happen is a lot of times they'll push those bait balls up against the bluffs. So they have somewhere to pin them so they can catch them. But really it's just a whole lot of just cover water. Set that trolling motor on high and just go and cast and reel. And then once you find them though, stay on them. You know, just because you catch fish, try and make a couple casts back in that area, because like I said, they're in wolf packs right now. They're grouped up chasing bait. So where there's one, you're probably going to catch more. You know, or at least try and catch them as fast as you can before they move on. And the nice thing about this fishing a smaller body of water, oh my God, fishing a smaller body of water is you can cycle through. Ooh, just had some bait blow up right there, or get chased right there. I can cycle through baits relatively quick, a lot quicker than I could if I was on a lake. Because I can cover this whole thing relatively fast and see what the fish are going to do. They may not want to top water. You know, they very well might not. You know, I'm seeing fish blow up, but not super aggressively. You know, it's one or two here and there. Whenever you start seeing those, like, you know, 4 or 5 fish busting on the surface, that's when you know top water's about to get hot. But I'm going to just throw this around for a little while. I give it about 15 minutes or so. And if I don't get a bite on it, I'm going to cycle to the next bait, because I pretty much covered this whole thing, right? And it might take, it being a little later in the day, it might take a little bit more wind to get these fish fired up. You know, there's a lot of different factors. I might come back to it, but we're just gonna throw pretty much whatever we got. We're gonna throw it for about 15, you know, 20 minutes max. And if we don't get a bite, move on to the next thing. You know, let the fish tell you what they want, because either they're gonna eat or they're not. You know what I mean? This time of year, you're chasing that aggressive fish, right? They're feeding up. So, you know, a lot of people say that the bass feed up for the winter. That's a pretty big misconception, I would say. I don't think that bass feed up. Well, one, they don't hibernate. You know, a lot of people assume that the bass just don't eat during the winter, and that's not factual at all. It's just most people don't fish for bass in the winter and have no idea. I would say, if anything, bass feed much more in the winter than they do in the summer, and more consistently than they do in the summer. Now, they may not have to feed as often because their metabolism is slowed because of the cold water, so they digest their food slower than they do in the summer, but they eat all winter long. They never stop. There's dudes that are, you know, ice fish for bass. You know, they're gonna eat. All right. No love on the whopper plopper, and I'm seeing like no fish popping on the surface anymore. So I'm gonna switch over to the chatterbait. I got this new trailer here from Snatching Lips. I've never used them before, but he says they work very well. This little kind of J tail, almost like a speed craw tail. Supposed to have a really nice action. And then with chatterbaits, you don't want to throw them with like a paddle tail on the back. A lot of people do, and I'm not saying that it won't work, but ideally you don't want to, because the way the water kicks off the blades, it actually, having that paddle tail on the back inhibits a lot of the action on chatterbait. So you end up kind of crippling the action of the bait by doing that. So I highly advise against it. I prefer throwing like a fluke or those Yoda worms. The 1,000 Fish Yoda worms are for sure the best chatterbait trailer I've ever got my hands on. I love them things. Because they have a narrow pointed tail that just has a lot of action back there, but it doesn't inhibit the blades at all. I'm not having any luck with that. So let's do something a little more baitfish profiled. Throw a lipless crank out here. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. This thing's coming back hot. Now I'm throwing it on a 7-speed. There's one. First cast. What did I say? First cast. Feels like a good fish too. Oh, he's just angry. And this is why we have the metal pliers. Woo! All right. Just one little hook in the bottom of the jig. There we go. Little pounder, maybe. But very healthy. Got a nice belly on him. And first cast with a lipless crank. Like I said, I'm burning this thing back in. I'm purely trying to force that reaction bait, and it came right across his face and he couldn't stand it. He had to go after it, whether he wanted to eat or not. So I think that style of bait today is going to be what does it. And I appreciate you, buddy. And there's a couple different baits that fulfill that role. You know, it's not just the lipless crank isn't the only one. You know, a square bill. Oh Lord, don't do this to me. There we go. A square bill, any kind of crankbait, you can do this, and then a spinnerbait, even anything with blades. So like a spinnerbait, and burn it. Like just under the surface, and you'll have a good chance of doing it too. Especially if there's more wind than today. If it was nice and windy, or if the water was really, really murky, spinnerbait would be killing it, you know. So just kind of keep that in mind. You know, you're covering water, you're moving fast. One of the fun things, you can actually steer a kayak with your bait. There's another one. Oh yeah. Oh. I don't know if he's just angry. Yeah, he's just angry. Come here, buddy. I love it. I love it. This is the 6th Sense Quake, and I love this color. It's got like a copper and shad color to it. I don't know the name. I'll put it in the description, but that has become my favorite lipless crank. It just consistently works. It casts a country mile, and the action on it's awesome. I've flat beat the brakes on them with it. This fish is a little smaller than the last one, but they're super angry, man. They fight way harder. I thought that fish was like a 2-pounder the way he was fighting. but this has got to be one of my favorite ways to catch fish. You know, I love flipping fish. It's a good time when the bite's good, flipping and pitching. But I love power fishing, man. It's just something about it. It's such an active way of fishing to me. And the bites are just so much more explosive. There's another one. Oh, it feels like a better fish. Oh, he absolutely crushed it too. It's dragging me around. Maybe a little better. Oh, 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 oh. Absolutely crushed it. Please don't hook me. There we go. All right. Yeah, a little football fish. That's why he was angry. But that's fish 3 in quick succession. They're feeding, like I said. It's just a matter of figuring out what they want. They want to be up top or down low. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about my setup here. So this is the Lose Mach 2. Okay, it's about I think it's closer to like a $200 reel. This is probably one of the nicer reels I own. It is a 10 ball bearing, so the ball bearing is just basically how smooth it is. The more ball bearings you get, generally speaking, the smoother the reel's going to be. And this is an incredibly smooth reel. I love this reel. It's a 7-speed, so it's pretty quick. And I've got 12-pound copolymer P line on here. If you've never used copolymer line before, you're sleeping on it, I promise. For all my reaction baits and even for worming, I vastly prefer copolymer over, say, fluoro, because it doesn't sink like fluoro. It's neutrally buoyant, but it's just as clear. It's actually nylon, woven nylon with a fluorocarbon coating, so it has a lot less memory in the line than fluoro or like mono does. So I've noticed I backlash substantially less with copolymer, and it just casts smoother. The line doesn't have near as much memory to it, and it's just as strong, if not stronger. I absolutely love it. And then this is a 7-foot medium heavy. This is a medium heavy fast. This is the Daiwa Axis line, or Aridex, sorry, Aridex. This is about a $50 rod, and let me tell you, for a $50 rod, this is probably the best $50 rod you can ever get your hands on. These Aridexes are awesome, man. A 7-foot medium heavy fast is kind of the Swiss Army knife of fishing. You can do anything and everything with it, but let me tell you, this rod does basically everything. I love throwing Texas rigs with it, light jigs, chatterbaits, spinner baits, pretty much anything. I love throwing on it. It really excels as a lipless crank rod. It is by far my favorite because the tip loads very well. Even though it has a very stiff backbone, the tip loads very well. It has what's called a parabolic bend. And that's what you want with anything with any bait with treble hooks, is you want a really good parabolic bend, because if your rod's too stiff, you'll rip those treble hooks out of the fish. And you'll notice whenever I hook fish, I'm not setting the hook, I'm just reeling into them, because those treble hooks will, ooh, I just got hit right there. Those treble hooks will do the work themselves if you let them. So you want a rod that's got some give to them. You don't want a broomstick whenever you're throwing anything with treble hooks. But I highly recommend this combo or any variation if you're looking for something like this. Okay, as you can see, the kayak's over there and I'm over here. It's because I lost feeling in my butt cheeks. I totally forgot my pad, like I said earlier, and my legs are starting to go numb. So I'm gonna do a lap from the bank with some stuff and just give my legs time to get some blood circulation back in them before I hop back on the kayak. But we got the BFS with the little blade bait, which is basically like a little lipless crank, but you can do more with it. But it's silent, and it's a little smaller profile, so hopefully if they're keyed into like a smaller bait fish, that'll help. And then we got a Texas rig tied up. See if maybe dragging something down the bottom might potentially get their attention. Somebody was nice enough to set this board over here for me, and I really appreciate them for it. There's one. Told you it worked. Get out of there. Stay out of there. Get out of there. Come here. Come here. All right. That's actually, I think, the biggest fish of the day so far. So, like I said, little tiny bait. I mean, it's just a minnow basically to them, a little baby shad or something, and they just can't stand it. Things just work super well. And catching fish on BFS is just so much funner than anything. You know, this little 1-pounder feels like an absolute tank. You know. Thank you, buddy. That was fun. And I believe Berkley makes these. This is a 1/4 ounce. And it's the only size I've ever really thrown is a 1/4 ounce. They make them bigger. I just haven't needed to throw a bigger one. You know, maybe if I was at the lake and I needed to, like, I don't know, fish deeper water, I would fish it. A bigger one. But for ponds, man, a 1/4 ounce is money. I don't think you need any other size, honestly. Oh! That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Coach. Let me tell you. Ooh, ooh! No way we saved that bird nest. Oh, I'm so freaking good at this. Actually, if I was good at this, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. But I can't believe I got that bird's nest undone. I thought she was done. Oh. Whew. Shoe got a little wet on that one. So I'm not actually seeing like the bait itself come to the surface as much like that. Or well, like I'm not seeing like bait balls, like I'm not seeing a lot of flickering. It's like a lot of individual fish. which makes me wonder if all the surface activity I'm seeing is the big shad that are in here. There's actually gizzard shad in this pond, which is crazy, but they're in here because I've hooked one that was like a pound. Oh God, I got crushed. Dang it. How did you not get the hook? And I lost my train of thought. Makes me wonder if it's the gizzard shad that I'm seeing come up and roll, because they tend to do that. There's one. I'm gonna sink for this fish. Ooh, you have those hooks right where I need to put my thumb, buddy. There we go. All right, another like pounder, pretty much the standard fish of the day. These like pounders. So hoping to kind of upsize eventually, but he's got some food in his belly. He's eating. He's healthy, which is nice. You know, this water is still super low. I mean, just like everywhere in Arizona right now. You know, we're in such a bad drought. Normally this time of year, the water's halfway up these rocks. You know, and it makes me really worried for the fish population in here on how they're going to do, if they're going to be able to spawn this spring if we don't get any water. Like, I'm very worried about this pond, but as of right now, it seems like the fish are doing all right. I'm so good at this. Oh, he come off. Oh, dang it. He's a little guy, but still. All right. I'm gonna go back to the truck. I think I want to try throwing a frog for a minute, just because I'm seeing some action over in the grass. I think we're gonna throw a frog. I'm actually getting short on time, so I don't know if I'm gonna get back in the kayak, honestly. We might just try the lipless over on that side, or the blade bait on that side from that angle, and then the frog over here, and then we might have to call it. I'm kind of running low on time, so I will see you guys back at the truck. All right, so we got a little frog. This is the baby filthy frog from Guggen. Shout out to my buddy Rios. Actually hit me up and was like, hey, I've got a whole bunch of, he does like the mystery tackle boxes. He said he's got a whole bunch of excess Guggen gear, and asked me if I wanted it. So I was like, absolutely, because I have a tackle obsession. And it was a lot of soft plastics, and then also this frog, a couple other top waters and stuff. So hopefully I can catch fish on. I was hoping this like smaller profile maybe. Will help out in this pond. You know, these fish have seen a lot of frogs this summer, and I mean a lot. So I'm hoping maybe a little different. I've never thrown black before, a black frog before. I know it's probably better in overcast, you know, cloudy conditions, but it's what I had tied on, and I didn't feel like cutting it off. So I don't think, I'm hoping it doesn't matter all that much. Oop, that was a bad cast. Another one. Oh, it come off. Oh no. Ah. I seen him flash right here. He just barely swiped it. There was just a little bit of weight there. He didn't crush it. Oh, I crushed it. That's what I was waiting for. I knew that I had to pull one out of here. Little guy absolutely demolished it. See? Just a little tiny bait is all it takes. All right, thank you, buddy. Smallest fish of the day for sure, but just too much fun on the little BFS. And then if you've ever seen this combo before, I've talked about it in the past, but this is the let me get entangled here. This is the Cast King Zephyr. It's their BFS combo. It's about a $75 reel. It's probably the best budget BFS reel on the market, in my opinion. It works very well. I've caught a ton of fish on it. It's now, I don't know, 2 years old, and I caught a grip of fish on it last winter. And through the spring, I've caught 5, 6, you know, I've caught a couple 5s on it now, and it holds up very well. It's got 15-pound braid, and then I'm generally running an 8 or 12-pound fluoro leader, and that's really all you need. This is actually a Zebco. You can see right there. This is a $10 rod. This is a Zebco 33 rod. I went to Walmart, paid $10 for the combo. I ripped off the cheap plastic Zebcos, which, is it just me, or has Zebco just gone so far downhill from what it used to be? Because I've got an old Zebco 33 from when I was a kid, and that thing still runs like a freight train. And now these cheap plastic Zebcos that they're selling are just garbage, man. Ah! I just hooked myself. But not to get sidetracked. But I just needed a light action rod that I could use for this. It's a 5.5. Let's see here. 5.5, 5.6, medium light. Okay. And it works incredibly well. There's a ton of really nice BFS rods out there, and eventually I'll probably get me a nice one, but honestly, this thing's held up fantastic for what it is. I just think Zebco's reels are garbage now. I even bought one of their bait casters to try out, and that thing was a piece of junk. It lasted like 1 week of fishing before it started screeching and the gear started like clanking, and yeah, oh, I think that was just weeds. Yeah, super disappointed in Zebco. All right, I've only got a little bit of time left. We know the blade bait works, okay? And I'm very convinced that a jerk bait would work. I couldn't work it properly from the boat. So I think I'm gonna run back and I'm gonna grab the jerk bait, and I'm gonna throw the jerk bait a little bit right here, where I can anyways. Maybe on the other side, but and see if, I feel like it should work. I just wanna know for my own like peace of mind, because I'm running out of time here. So let's go grab that. All right. So nothing happened, and the battery on the GoPro died, so couldn't show you even if it did. But I really thought the jerk bait would work. Just couldn't make it happen. I guess they wanted something faster. But you know, I just wanted to kind of reiterate, it was fall time is one of the best times of the year. You know, we just came out of summer and late summer, which is garbage, right? If you were trying to get into bass fishing, I had a lot of buddies that reached out and they were like, man, I'm just trying to learn and I'm just not catching anything. And I'm like, I know, it's just the time of year. Like, I promise it gets better. And we're starting to get in that time where it's going to be better. You know, as soon as it cools off, hopefully we get a little bit of water, but if not, we'll make it work. But still, as soon as it cools off, these fish are out, they're active, they're feeding. This is the fun time to fish. You can go out and throw crankbaits and chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and all that fun stuff and just crack them. So don't get discouraged, get out there, now's the time, and chase that bite. It's only gonna get better until probably January, and then it'll kind of fall off for a little while, and then it'll reset in February. So, and be phenomenal for the spring like it always is. But like always, guys, I really appreciate you for watching. Make sure you're staying up with the draw. If you like and comment and share multiple videos, it gives you multiple entries for your for the chance to win all the custom baits. So if you can, like, comment, share. I'd love to see your guys' go-to fall baits too, and how the fisheries in your area are doing this time of year. I know here in Arizona we're late to the party generally. It's still hot. So I'm sure you guys up north are having a little bit different experience. So I'd love to hear from you guys. But I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.